morning to all of you. Myself, B A Shinde, Assistant Professor, Department of Agronomy, Ratna Agriculture College, Akluz, conducting a lecture on characteristics of weeds. Actually, this is the second lecture on the topics of the weed management of our course of the 5th semester, Agro, P5, 10. And the characteristics of the weeds are there. The first is definition of the weed. What is meant by weeds? Then actually the weed term which is coined by the Jethro Tull. And he defined the weeds are unwanted and undesirable plant that interferes with utilization of land and water resources and thus adversely affect crop production and human welfare. Actually, you know, weed is any type of the unwanted weeds, which is not sown by the farmers, but you see in a field. This is a compete with the croplands and affect the human welfare. And such type of the weeds are there. Then first we see the characteristics of weeds. The first character of a weed is to produce a larger number of the seeds as compared to the crops. In case of the croplands, it produces the 100 seed, 200 seed, sometimes it produces 1 seed, 2 seed, or 3 seeds. But in case of the weed plants, it produces the unaccountable seeds, or the amount of seeds we can't record this. For example, the weeds like the Phylloris minora, or the Matara, or the Amatari, such type of the weeds which produces 1 lakh or more than that of the seeds. That is such a huge amount of the seeds are produced by such type of the plants is the weed. Then the most of the weed seeds are very small in size, and it contributes enormously to the seed reserve. Actually, you know, they're very small in size are there, so it is easily transferred to the one place to the another place. And then emerge there. So there a shift or a dissemination is also easy. Then the weed seeds germinate earlier and their seedlings grow faster. As the comparison of the crop plants, you know, the weed seeds germinate faster, germinate within 1 day or 2 days. In case of the crop plants, it required about 6 to 7 days for their germination. And also the seedlings grow faster than the crop plants. Their seedlings also grow within 3 or 4 days. In case of the Hazardani or the Phyllanthus neroi, also called as the ephemeral weeds, it completes their life cycle within 1 month. That is, a total life cycle is completed within 1 month. So it is the actually a growth of that weed plant is there. But in case of our crop plants, such a nature is not there. Then another characters, the flowers earlier and mature ahead of the crops they infest. Actually, you know, it emerged earlier than the crop plants. Then also it flowering earlier, and it produces seeds earlier than cropland, and immediately it transferred to the one place to the another place, and again it is a germinate immediately. So the multiplication rate of the weed plants are more than the crop plants. Then they have the capacity to germinate under the varied conditions. They have the ability to grow any of the areas or varied climatic conditions. They have not need to the a particular type of the climate, particular type of the soil conditions, or if there is a no irrigation water is available the in the places where also weeds can easily grow or easily alive. Then there are very typical characteristics are there. These are the season bound. Then the peak period of the germination always takes place in the certain season in a regular succession year after year. Then the another characteristics, the weed seeds opposes the phenomenon of the dormancy. You know the dormancy? That is, the seeds allow the number of days into the soil. They have the capacity to not germinate the number of days. And if such a favorable condition is available, then they immediately arises. Which is found the intrinsic physiological power of the seeds to resist the germination even under the favorable climatic conditions. Then the next character is on the weed seeds do not lose their viability. So what is by viability? Viability is the ability or the capacity of the seeds to germinate. So the weed seeds do not loses their viability for the number of years if there is any climatic situation is there. In that condition also such as seeds are arises or the emerged, and the weeds which stand safely. Then most of the weeds possess the C4 type of the anatomy and the photosynthesis. You know the C4 plant, that is the 4-carbon cycle, that is the 4 carbon accumulations. And actual the peculiarities of such type of the plants, they are their efficiency or the water use efficiency is the more than the other. So it is the C4 type of the photosynthesis there which is stand into the stress condition also. If the moisture stress condition is available, that is in the drought regions, then the weeds withstand. The weeds are withstand there. Then this is the finish of first topic here. Then will we start the second topic. After that, then our second topic
is on harmful and the beneficial effect of weeds.
Today's another topic is on harmful and beneficial effect of weeds on ecosystem. And first, as a harmful effect of weeds on the ecosystem or the crop plants, the reduction in yield. Actually, weed compete with a crop for the nutrients, then the space, then moisture. Because of that, it reduces their yield. That is actually the crop can't able to absorb the amount of nutrients with the competitions of the weed. Then so ultimately it reduces their yield. Then loss in the crop quality. The crop quality is also ultimately lost because of the high infestations of weeds. Because the weeds, while the harvesting, then it mix their seeds with crop seeds, then it loses their quality. And also, the disease and pest infestation is a more if the weed population is a more than the crop population, then also it ultimately loses the crop quality. Then weeds as a reservoir of the pest and diseases. How the weeds are a reservoir as a pest and diseases, about the weeds harbors the amount of pest and diseases. If the weed infestation is the more, then the attack of the pest and the diseases are more because there is a change in the microclimate situations in that level. And because of that, the pest attack on the weeds, and because of the weeds, the pests are also attacked on the crop plants. And as like the diseases also, sometimes the insect vectors are more there, they transmit the diseases to the crop plants as well as on the weed plants. So it is the reservoirs of the pest and diseases. Then it interferes in a crop handling. It interferes in the crop handling while the harvestings of the crops, then also the grading, then the packaging, that is the post-harvest management of the crops is affected because of the weeds. Generally, the weed affect the crop plants, that is, it reduces about a 30 to 40% yield or the yield losses is because of that. So it interferes in the crop handling. Then the reduction in the land value. If any of the land which is affected with a weed infestation, then it reduces their value. And because of that, it there is no any crops is grown with a sufficient yield and a sufficient quality. So ultimately, it reductions in the land value in the particular locality where the weed infestations are more. Then the limitations of the crop choice. In that situation, there is a limitations in the crop choice because some of the weeds which are the associated weeds, which are grown with an associations of the crop plant. For example, the Phalaris minora is a weed, that is a major weed which is associated with a wheat crop. So this is actually the mimicry weed. we can't identify if it is at a seedling stage, but it compete up to their flowering as well as their that is a grain filling stage also. So it is a grain filling and the flowering is badly affected because of such a weed. So we have some limitations to the choice of crops in that situation. Then the loss of human efficiency. While the pre-tillage operations, then the inter-tillage operations and the harvesting of the crop, that is conducting the any of the package of practices into the crop plants, and there is a difficult to manage it. That is, it losses the human efficiency because they are the high efficiency, and that is the high infestations of the weeds in the particular locality. Then also the labor charges may be required more in case of the intercultural operations as like the weeding, then the hoeing, then also the harvesting also because harvesting is difficult while the weed infestation is more. Then also the problems due to the aquatic weeds are also. In case of the aquatic weeds, you know about the aquatic weeds, it losses that is it transpired the amount of water. The diet absorbs the water from the reservoirs as like the ponds, then the rivers. It totally covered the surface area of the water and it absorbs the amount of water and the losses or the transpired the amount of the water. Then also it is affected the fishing or the fishing areas, then boating areas, then also the loss of their reservoirs. Then this is a problem due to the aquatic. Then another effects are the beneficial effects. The beneficial effects are the like the harmful effects. The weeds are also the beneficial effects are there. Then such effects, you see these such effects. The first, the weeds as a fodder. That is the weeds are used as a fodder for the cattle. So most of the weeds, as like the leguminous weeds, then the poaceous weeds, then such weeds like the hariali, and the lava, then also shimpi. There is such a type of the weeds which is used for the fodder to the cattle. Then the weeds as a vegetable. You know about the weeds as like the gourd, chicory, then the amaranthus weeds are there, then the patri. Then such weeds are used as a vegetable. The amount of nutrients and the minerals are contained in it, and it is a good vegetable for the human being. Now the weeds as a soil binder. Actually, it binds the soil. It conserves the soil and the water. Actually, weed have an ability to cover the soil or the land, and their root system is also better than the crop plants. So it hold the soil, hold the water. So it reduces the weed and the soil and the water erosion. So the weed as a manure sometimes after the harvesting, that is after the cutting of the weeds as well as incorporations of the weeds into the land, it act as a manure after the decomposition. Sometimes the weeds which are used for the preparations of the FYM, then the compost, that is like the Parthenium compost, then other weeds, that is the combinations of all these type of the weeds which are decomposed into the, a particular peat, then this is the weed manure. Okay, then the weeds as a fuel. Sometimes the weeds are used as a fuel in the domestic purpose. It's actually a fuel for the preparation of uh, our food, human beings' food, as like in the cooking purpose. Then Then also the another fuel purpose it is used. Then another the weeds have some medicinal values. The weeds have some medicinal values. For example, the Phyllanthus nerori used to cure the jaundice disease of the human being. Then the Eclipta alba or the erecta, which is used for the scorpion bite or the scorpion sting. Then the Centella asiatica, which improves the memory of the human being. Then the Cynodon dactylon for the asthma and the piles. If any of the human beings which is suffered from the asthma and the piles, the Cynodon dactylon is the remedy for that purpose. Then the cypress root and it stimulates the milk secretion in the human being. Then the Leucus aspera for the snake bite. Generally, you know about the farmer works in the field continuously. Then they can suffer from the snake bite number of times or most of the times. So this is a Leucus aspera, the major weed we can use on that is on the snake bite. Then the Calotropis procera for the gastric trouble and Abitilon indicum for the piles. Then the weed as a mat and a screen. It is also used for the preparation of the mats and the screens or the borders of the fields or the borders of the home also. Then the weeds as an indicator plant. If any of the land which is a deficient of the nutrients, then we can easily indicate such land by using the weeds. That is the color of weeds. If it is the light color or a yellowish color of the weeds are arises in the particular place or any of the deficiencies arises, you can easily identify such a land which is a deficient of the particular nutrients. Okay, it may be the macronutrients as well as the micronutrients. Then weeds also used as ornamental plants. The ornamental plants generally weeds are used that is as like the lawn purpose. The haryali that is some species of the haryali which is used for the preparations of the lawns that is as ornamental. Then another species like the align as like I think tuntuni or the lantana camera, which is used as ornamental plants. You know about such a plants which having the number of flowers with different colors. Okay, then the weeds as a fencing. If the weeds are the spinous, that is the spines are there in particular weeds. For example, the wild bear, then it is used as a fencing or the borders to the field. Okay, then this is the finish of topic here, the harmful and the beneficial effects of the weeds on the ecosystem, and another one is also finished, that is the characteristics of the weeds. Okay,